Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready for intensity on wheels? Welcome to the Bristol Motor Speedway. Bristol's near 20-degree banked red dirt bull ring provides some of the sport's most exciting fender bending racing. With over 100,000 permanent seats and a half-mile layout, it guarantees that the crowd will be loud and hungry for action. But what happens if you throw dirt on top of the last great Coliseum? Well, you get this. We have the Bristol Dirt Derby here for the Elite Entertainment Cup Series, powered by Butt Kicker for race number 3 in season 2 of Area iRacing. Hello, one and all. I'm Hunter Sleppy, and joining me in the booth tonight, as always, is executive producer Harold Darner. Harold, how's it going?
Pretty good, man. It's weird looking down on this track with dirt all over it. It's like somebody needs to get a broom.
They'll need more than a broom after tonight's race, but actually not tonight's race, because tomorrow night we'll have the CNC Logging Truck Series going at this racetrack, and the Xfinity Series will be going at a different joint for Thursday night.
Yeah, we'll take the dirt off of it for Thursday night.
Yeah, they'll have to get a big
We'll bring the
broom
snow plows and bring them out and take the dirt off the track.
Might need a little more than a snow plow to get it off, but nonetheless, we're here for some Elite Entertainment Cup Series action, and this is the first race that we've had on the dirt layout of Bristol, and this is the first dirt race for the points payout in the area, because we had that fundraising event last December. I want to say last December.
Yeah, we did we did the dirt Bristol. Well, we did the old dirt Bristol. They actually went back and rescanned the current Bristol for what we're racing on tonight. So we're actually racing on the Bristol that the NASCAR guys will be taking on this weekend.
Yep, the Truck Series will be taking it Saturday night, and the Cup guys will be going at it Sunday night. So this is our little preview of what you can expect to see. So we have less than 7 minutes in our practice session, and as we mentioned, it's the first official dirt race for area. So there will be 4 heat races in tonight's before tonight's main event, I should say. There will be 4 heat races. There will be about 8 laps each, and how the field will be set up. So the winners of each heat will be starting in the first 4 positions. So, for example, if you win heat number 1, you're starting on the pole. Heat number 2, you're starting second. And if you finish second in heat number 1, then you'll be starting 5th. So every other position will be determined by where you finish in your heat. So again, for example, heat 1, if you finish in second, you'll be starting 5th. And in heat 2, if you finish second, you'll be starting 6th. Yeah. So on and so forth.
Local track racing heat rules. So going from the qualifiers to the A main, and going with the traditional dirt rules, the caution laps will not count. iRacing does have issues with that. So the leader will be all kinds of weird people until we start the green lap again. So we're going to have to, Hunter and I are going to do our best to maintain where they were, because our timing, our scoring and timing will not be accurate. It's something to do with because the way ATVO and iRacing, from my understanding, it was told to me, iRacing, ATVO all work on the looping throughout the racetrack, and when you don't let caution laps count, it goes back to the last time they crossed the stripe. And
so that can get a little confusing.
That's why it has to get rolled back, and so that's why it's an issue. But we'll get through it. Only 8 laps per heat. It's similar to what we did together way back, which is like years and eons ago when we were at the Extreme Motorsports late models, Rick Hot Sauce late model series.
Yeah, the Rick Hot Sauce late model series, when we had feature events before the main event in the late model division, but now we're in the Cup level, and we've got dirt on top of Bristol. So as mentioned, there will be 4 heat races, 8 laps each. No caution laps in these heats. However, there will be caution laps in the main event, which is 100 lap main event. So that'll be something to look forward to.
Yeah, so Drew Trader, with his ailment that, if he wants to disclose, I'll let him do it, but he did put it in Discord, is chiming in, talking about 20,000 truckloads of dirt. So, hey.
It's a lot of dirt. Where do they put it?
I don't know, but well, my understanding is they basically sell it afterwards because they can't reuse it. Because this is the way a clay track works, is it has to be done in layers of different types of dirt to get the clay compound, the dirt compound, and all the stuff to get dirt consistency. So once you strip it, you've ruined it, and it can't be used again. Unless
All
somebody
right, so
wants
we
to
got
correct me that I'm incorrect on that one, but that was my understanding, that they pay for this stuff to come back every year, like in new fresh dirt.
So we have a little over 3 minutes left in our practice session, and we want to remind everyone tuning in that Area iRacing has a brand new channel point system in which followers can get 5 points for every 10 minutes that they watch of a broadcast, whether it's tonight, tomorrow night, or Thursday night, and subscribers will get double the points. And what will those channel points go to, you might ask? Well, they'll go to a well, let me pull up my Twitch really quick. So if you type in in the chat exclamation point store, you'll see it on the chat layout on your screen. It'll give you a code, or not a code. It'll give you a link,
Hyperlink. Yep.
hyperlink to go to streamelements.com/area iRacing/store, and you can look at what the prizes will be for all those points that you achieve. So for 10,000 channel points, you can earn yourself a area sticker, one of which I have on the back of my laptop, and it is pretty good quality, I might add. 25,000 points will get you an area T-shirt, and then 50,000 channel points will get you an area premium hoodie, and the hoodie is really really comfortable. The only thing I'm missing is the T-shirt, so I might be going for that, but
It's like
it rewards.
$1 billion.
Yeah, and if you click on that link, it'll show you how many of the items are available. So there's only 10 stickers available to go out, 5 T-shirts, and
So you better
5
get to it quick.
sweatshirts. Yeah, you better do it quick. You better tune in. And like we said, 5 points for every 10 minutes for followers, and for subscribers, it's double that. So it's 10 points for 10 minutes. So make sure you tune in and rack up those points. And another way that you could rack up those points is by betting. You can bet on tonight's question that will be posted in the chat. Which team will win tonight's cup race? So we've got 8 different teams, and those will be given out in just a moment. But for example, if you wanted to bet, you would use exclamation point bet and then the team name and however many channel points you wish to bet. So an example that I will use, let me go back to the chat, do exclamation point bet infinite, and you want to double check to make sure you're spelling the team's name correct. But like I said, they will be given out at some point, the options. So we'll do infinite gaming, for example. Want to make sure you got that right. Exclamation point bet infinite, and we'll just do 10 points. No contest currently running in the chat. So when the contest goes up, that is what you will do. Exclamation point bet, and then the team name, and however many points you wish to do. And it's a really cool thing that we're able to do for season 2, and we're hoping to it'll attract more people into not only tuning in, but into possibly earning themselves some extra points.
Some swag.
Yep.
So we got 11 seconds left before we kick this thing off. And as Hunter, you were saying, qualifying will break up in basically the first is going to be in leading off heat 1. The second place guy will be leading off heat 2, heat 3, heat 4 down in that way as well as setting the field based off of the heats. So let's get ready to rumble.
Let's do it. So let's take a look at our weather really quick, presented by Lottie'sTravelWorld.com. We got partly cloudy skies over the half-mile Coliseum. 81 degrees, air temp, track temp at a cool, nice 69 degrees, humidity at 40%, with winds from the west at 2 miles an hour. Now, I'm not really sure how much wind will affect this place because it is essentially a stadium. There's grandstands built all the way around it, and there was a football game here not too many years ago, right in the infield.
They need to make a hockey game in infield. That's what they need to do. Hockey in
That would be
stadiums.
that would be even worse because the rink is smaller than a football field.
Great, I know. That's why it's great when you see it in football. So like Jake Nichols taking to the track.
Yep, Jake Nichols, last week's winner at Phoenix, going out for his first lap. So there is still qualifying, but this will determine where the drivers will line up for their heat. And
Yeah.
it follows the same for the finishing order. So Jake Nichols in the number 91. He had the second fastest speed in practice, but right now he is slotted fourth. So he would be on the pole for the fourth and final heat race. And it goes down position by position. So Matt Albertson
he's
currently the
dropping quite
fastest.
a bit, though.
He is dropping. That is surprising. He ran a 14.2 in practice, and he's only run a 14.4.
I'm not sure. So
Now, I don't know if we could get a closer look on these cars, but one thing I'm really noticing when they come off of turn 2, the bumps there are absolutely horrendous. Now we didn't see that time with Matt Alberson, but we'll have to find someone else that's on their hot lap. It's not Dwayne Culberson because he is the pole sitter at the moment with a 19.209. Here we go. We'll get a close up shot of the number 77. Jacob Bell here. It's through turn 2, so they're coming off turn 4 right now, down the start-finish line. But look at the bumps that these drivers are going through when they're going through turn 2. Look at the rear of the car. It wasn't that bad that time, but there are some pretty bad bumps in the transition from turn 2 on to the backstretch. But here's an in-look at that is Paul Irvin going for a spin. He's currently 31st. On the time, and Jacob Bell actually just went second on the chart with a 19.225. So a really good lap there from Jacob Bell. Before going on board with Tyler Nichols, this is the brother of Jake Nichols, teammates for Solar Flare Racing. Once again, they won last week at Phoenix in a dominating fashion from Jake, but Tyler looking to get his first win of the year and the second win for Solar Flare Racing, which is an option that you can choose in tonight's contest. Oh, and as Jake pointed out in the chat, bets aren't open until the end of Heat 4.
Ah. So Tyler, you see in the in-car, Tyler here is, yeah, we just saw what happens if you cut the corner. Mr. Nichols cut the corner there. Brad Slaughter taking to the track now. Number 88.
Brad Slaughter is the Area 500 winner. And he wasn't planning on running the full Cup season, but after the win, he was like, why not? And decided to do so. And he's currently 9th on the chart. Now here is Boyd Hogan in the number 96 looking to go out and put down a fast lap of his own.
As slick as these guys are having their track now, wondering how that's going to work with 2 and 3 wide racing sliding through the corners.
Yeah, I could only imagine. Well, actually, 3 wide does not work.
It does not.
That was from David Weishart, who David Weishart posted the fastest lap in practice, and I'm looking through to see where he is on the qualifying chart, and he's actually 8th. There's Garrett Heath in the 23 going out for his second lap, looking to get that 23 car up a few more positions. And he'll lose it. So 24th will be all that number 23 can do. And here is the number 4 of Dan Miglin. That is a teammate of Garrett Heath for Infinite Gaming. From Hoboken, New Jersey. Boyd Hogan in the number 96 puts up the 4th quickest time with a 19.253. We'll see if the number 4 of Dan Miglin can put up a lap time faster than Boyd Hogan. Crosses the stripe to complete his first lap, and the number 4, 30th quickest. Now we have seen the second lap become the fastest lap, although for some, like Jacob Bell, his first lap, that was the fastest lap. But for most people, the second lap will be the fastest. We see him rolling there through the bottom, really loose, nearly hitting the barrels on the the front stretch wall, and I don't think that 4 will post a lap faster than the 30th. And nope, that is not the case. So 30th for the number 4 of Dan Miglin. We've got 4 minutes left in qualifying, and oh no, everyone's gone out for their lap. That is a first.
Everybody's
it's a first for this season.
Oh, everybody wants to qualify. That's the reason behind that.
So while we're at it, I'm just going to go ahead and make my pick because this has happened in every race I've been a part of this season. The pole sitter, and it looks like it's going to be Dwayne Culberson in the 81. That will be my pick for tonight's race. So I'm sticking with that trend. It's been 4 for 4 in races I've been a part of this season. So I will stick to that trend and hopefully make it 5-5 with Dwayne Culberson of Solar Flare Racing.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with Jake Bell. I think it's the first time I'll pick him, but looks pretty strong in that qualifying lap. So maybe he found something.
Jake has been a part of some dirt racing in real life in southern Florida before pursuing his goals in real life. But nonetheless, he's had experience on the dirt in real life, so I'm not surprised in the slightest that it's transitioned over to iRacing. So I wouldn't be surprised if that 77 somehow finds a way into victory lane.
So we got about 2:45 left in the qualifications. Then they'll break them down into the 4 heats. We'll show the 4 heats and then set them up for the A-Main, 100 laps.
Yep, series directors Jacob Hudson and Pierce Moffitt in the directors tower. They are going to be going over some more in-depth notes or rules, especially for the Bristol dirt track, because there's a lot of unanswered questions here with this track because we haven't really seen it in the area calendar. The only dirt race that we saw was the fundraiser race.
Yep.
Back in December in season 1.
That was with stock cars, weren't we? Street stocks.
Street stocks.
Yeah.
It was with street stocks.
And I remember that was quite an interesting thing. So while we're waiting now, I got about 2 minutes, and I'm going to give a sneak peek to our audience. They can go over to One to Go Studios at Facebook and check out the inaugural coin for the Sasquatch Hard Luck Award. We've talked about it, Jake, I, and Hunter. It is a bottle cap opener. It is a pretty thick coin. It's like, if you're into coin collecting, it's about the girth of a Susan B. Anthony silver dollar. It's about that kind of weight. It's golden color, and it's got the One to Go Studios on the one side, and on the other side is the Sasquatch Hard Luck Award. And we will be giving those out on Tuesday nights to the driver who runs into the other cars or calamity corner, whatever you want to call it. It's something that they of not their own doing. That's usually how we do it. So,
well, if I do recall, on the first truck race on Tuesday night at Daytona, Ken Kushwa gave the award to the whole field. So that's over 40 coins there already.
I'm sorry, I can't honor that one. Sorry. It has to be individual awarded. I'll have to remind Ken about that one.
Yeah, but
I believe there was one for last week. I can't remember who he gave it out to. He'll remind me tomorrow, though.
Yeah, and that's the Sasquatch Award given out every Tuesday night here on Area iRacing with the CNC Logging Truck Series, and that is One to Go Studios on Facebook. You can check out the announcement video. Pretty neat. And the coin is really, really neat too. Really good quality.
He says that only being able to view it. He hasn't had one in his hand just yet. He'll get one eventually. All right. Yeah. The grids are starting to be set up here. So
looking at Team Transcendent going with Gary Lewis in the Sasquatch car, so we know who their pick's going to be. And as you mentioned, we have the first heat coming up.
Yep. So
got that starting lineup right now.
Heat number 1. Here's your grid. For heat number 1, there are 10 cars in heat number 1. There you go.
Yeah, 10. I think every other heat's going to have 9 because we have 30. Actually, no. Two of them will have 9. We have 38 drivers. So two First 2 heats will have 10 drivers, and the last 2 will have 9.
Yep.
And the 10 for this one will be Dwayne Culberson on the pole, with the number 58 car of Justin Wilson starting on his outside. Row 2, David Weishart on the inside, Dom DeLeo on the outside. Row 3, Cameron Hearn and Garrett Grant. And then row 4, it's Garrett Heath, Ryan Swan. And then in row number 10, we have the 00 car of Will Davis, followed by the number 49 of Jay Perkins. Now, there will be no go or go homers. Everyone is locked in the main event. This is just to determine where you start in that main event. So the winner of this heat will be starting on the pole. And the pace track, I believe we get 2 pace laps here because it is a short track. This is a half-mile racetrack. Yep, that is the case. And as we mentioned previously,
yep,
the contest for tonight's new channel point system that will be opening up at the end of heat number 4. Which team will win tonight's race? So there are 8 race teams, and those will be provided after heat race number 4. But until then, looks like we're going to get some heat racing going with the number 81 of Dwayne Culberson of Solar Flare Racing going to lead the way. And then the number 58 car of Justin Wilson. So on the front row, pace truck is in, and Culberson leads the field to the green flag for heat number 1. And once again, caution laps do not count for this, for not for this heat, but for any of the heat races. So far, it looks like Culberson is leading the way. Oh, and a big send from Justin Wilson in the 58. David Weishart already up to 3rd on the back bumper of the 58. Boy, that 58 really gets a nice 1 and 2 there, but 3 and 4 is where the 81 makes up for it. Boy, you see the 33 of David Weishart sideways slinging that number 33. Now we have Justin Wilson looking low, nearly making contact, had to back out of it. Now that's going to allow the 33 of Weishart to get in on the battle, and the 67 of Cameron Hearn. Boy, Cameron Hearn has been second fiddle a lot this season, and I feel like he's due for a win at some point. Well, actually, no. He won Phoenix, but in the Cup Series, he was second fiddle in the Area 500, and he was second fiddle. Oh, and caution's out on the racetrack.
So it'll stack him back up.
We will stack him back up, and it looks like might be the 5 of Garrett Grant that could be at fault for this caution.
Yep.
And there's the ticker glitching, as we pointed out. So
we're gonna drop that.
We are not going by the ticker under caution.
Yep, we're gonna drop that real quick and start over.
We have an anonymous cheerer cheering 1 bit. We appreciate the cheer. Anonymous cheer. So while the caution is out, we can make you guys in the chat can make your picks for which driver will win tonight's race, as we already saw with Transcendent Motorsports going with Gary Lewis in the Sasquatch car. So we got heat number 1, Dwayne Culberson leading the way with the number 58 of Justin Wilson running in 2nd. David Weishart running 3rd, and Cameron Hearn running in the 4th spot. Believe we'll get the one to go this time by, and might see the cars double up. I'm not 100% sure if we're doing double file or single file restarts. Double file, okay.
Yep, this will be a double file. I believe the admin's discussion was we will start these by double file, and if that becomes an issue, they have the ability to reduce it to a single file, restart to help the racing along. So we'll start off with 252. If they play nice, then we'll let it run. Let her rip.
Yep, so they're already starting to double file in the back. So it looks like this lap will be the one to go before the restart.
Same thing. If we see the pace car lights are off, so should be going from here.
So we will have 4 laps remaining in our first heat. Dwayne Culberson on the inside and Justin Wilson on the outside with Weishart, Cameron Hearn, 3rd and 4th. Garrett Heath, Ryan Swan, 5th and 6th. Will Davis and Jay Perkins, 7th and 8th. And rounding out the top 10 is Garrett Grant and Dominic DeLeo. So we'll see that pace truck pull down into pit road once more with Culberson leading the way. And it looks like we're actually single file for the heats.
Interesting. And I'm looking at the iRacing was saying they're double file, but if they decided to go single file, I guess that'll work too.
That'll work for the 33 of Weishart as he's looking to the inside of Justin Wilson for that second spot.
He's got Cameron right there on him, as Justin's going to take his shot at Culberson with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, this is the corner where Wilson can make it happen, and he's got a nose down there as Culberson goes into the wall. Wilson on the bottom looking to slide up and get that lead, but now Weishart joining in along with Cameron Hearn. We got almost a 4-car battle for the lead here.
Final lap.
See if we can get our ticker. Oh, this is the final lap. Okay. Oh, and there's contact. Culberson around. Weishart and Hearn hit him. It's going to be the 58 of Justin Wilson rolling through 3 and 4 for the final time, coming through to get the checkered flag, and he will start first after winning heat number 1. Wow, what a way to end it for the first heat. See if we can get our ticker back up for heat race number 2, but we'll get your finishing results very quickly for our first heat of the night. It is Justin Wilson winning, and he will be starting first in the main event, and Cameron Hearn finishing second in this heat will start 5th, and so on and so forth, with Garrett Heath, David Weishart, Garrett Grant rounding out the top 5, Dwayne Culberson, P6, Will Davis, Dom DeLeo, Jay Perkins, and Ryan Swan rounding out the field. And now let's get race number 2, or heat number 2, excuse me, with Jacob Bell on the front row, Eli Green starting alongside him, and in row 2, Brad Slaughter, the Area 500 winner, with Connor Okrezik to his outside. And then in row number 3, it's Nick Johnston, the 28, Tyler Nichols on his outside for row 3. In row 4, it's Chris Seinfeld with Daniel Miglin. And in the last row, Paul Irvin, as some call him Swervin Irvin in the chat, with Delonte Ballard to his outside. This is the last heat with 10 drivers, so the next 2 will have 9 after that. So a couple things in the notes here. So the leader of the last heat got a good jump, led a good bit, but right at the very end just couldn't quite hold on to it as they were going for the win, and that was going to put whoever won that heat in the pole position. So these guys are, at the end of the day, they're still racing for something. So this is the start on the outside of the front row for the main event. So we're seeing Delonte Ballard must have disconnected.
Yeah.
So I'm only seeing 9 on the racetrack. He will have a chance to reconnect, I believe, for the heat and obviously for the main event. But for now, pace truck pulls in, and Jacob Bell leads the field to the green flag for heat number 2. Very early, we start to see him go to the outside. Might have been a
Whoa.
little too high. That's going to open the door for
Eli
Eli
Green.
Green to take the lead. Try to slide up in front of the 77. Can't quite do it. 77's going to slide high, and now the 0-2 of Eli Green will take control of the race lead on lap number 2. Oh, and Okrezik nearly gets into the 77 of Bell. They're side by side for third in the back, but the 77 of Jacob Bell trying to work that outside groove in just a tad more and get a run on our leader, Eli Green. Boy, these two they've already put a decent gap between themselves and the rest of the field. Jacob Bell is a man on a mission. He wants that lead back. He's got a run on the outside. He just posted the fastest lap of the race. Eli Green really sideways. Jacob Bell holding that thing as straight as he can, and a power charge on the outside. Jacob Bell back into the lead, with Eli Green falling down to second. Boy, Jacob Bell did not have the start that he needed. Needed to rebound, and he did just that. I mean, he flew by the 0-2 of Eli Green, who's still second, but he's half a second back from our heat leader, Jacob Bell. Oh, he actually just clipped the wall there coming out of turn 2. And the 4 of Daniel Miglin is close to going a lap down.
Wow.
Oh, and the 77. Yeah, wow is right.
Sliding to the right to get down the racetrack as we got 3 laps to go, and man,
boy,
he's sliding everywhere.
He's starting to struggle now. The later we go into this heat, the 0-2 has managed to recoup and gather it back up, and he's going to have another chance to redeem himself and try and pass the 77 with 2 to go.
I'm starting to see that rubber build up. And I think the 0-2's taking the line under, and the 77's taking the line above the slick as it's developing in the turn entry.
White flag in the air. Heat number 2 down to the last lap. We see the 4 of Daniel Miglin just in front of the leaders. Hopefully we don't see that play into effect as he pulls down low and then comes back up. The 0-2 starting to lose it there coming out of turn 2, and the 77 of Jacob Bell comes off turn 4 as the winner of heat number 2 after almost making contact with the 4 of Daniel Miglin. Oh, and the spin. And that is it for heat number 2. So the finishing results will be Jacob Bell winning the heat and will be starting on the outside row of the main feature, with Eli Green second, Brad Slaughter third, Nick Johnston fourth, Connor Okrezik rounding out the top 5, and Chris Seinfeld, Paul Irvin, Tyler Nichols, Daniel Miglin, and Delonte Ballard rounding out the rest of the field. He was able to come back, but finished 5 laps down. Actually, 6 laps down, excuse me. Brad's grandfather checking in. Didn't do too bad in the heat. We'll see how that car is in race trim. And now, heat number 3, we have pole sitter for this one, Matt Alverson in the 8, and to his outside, Corey Carpenter in the number 30. Then we have row 2, James Scioli and James Shanwolf, a pair of James in the second row. Then in the third row, we have Matthew Robinson and Forrest Smith. Row number 4 is Ryan Hartz and Gary Lewis, once again looking to go to war out here on the dirt. And then in the last row, all to himself, it's the number 2 of Michael Larch. So we see the 69 Sasquatch car. Harold, we might need to get a closer view of that 69. That's a pretty fine race car. Oh, it's blinking. Oh, and he's inside of the 2. There is something going on with Gary Lewis. Looks like might be some internet issues. See if we can get that fixed for him, or if he can get that fixed.
Yeah, he came
there
off
he is
track.
on pit road. Yeah, he was blinking in and out a bit, and he was going inside of the 2 of Larch. Oh, that is the pit view. Trying to get a view of the car, but can't quite get a good angle of it. So I'll have to settle for that. Meanwhile, the field is pacing through turns 3 and 4 with the pace truck looking to pull in at any moment. Matt Alverson on the inside, Corey Carpenter on the outside. And here we go. Green flag is in the air. Heat number 3 underway at Bristol. Oh, already we're seeing drivers get up into the wall. There's a couple of them in the wall back there. It looks like to be Forrest Smith and Michael Larch. As James Scioli looking underneath the 30 of Carpenter for the second spot. And that's another driver in the wall. Boy, that is Matthew Robinson, the 34. So the third heat, we're starting to see more drivers get closer and closer to that outside groove and even making contact with the wall. So drivers trying to test the limits of this track and find the cushion, as our race leader Matt Alverson is doing, and he's in the wall. That's going to allow the 30 of Carpenter to go to the inside, side by side for the lead. He's going to try and slide him in front, and he makes contact. The 8 of Alverson goes around in turn 4, and the caution's going to come out.
There's Gary Lewis.
Gary Lewis is 1 lap down. He was just in front of our leader, Alverson, before that caution came out. There's a good look at that number 69 Sasquatch car with a little bit of damage to the left side of it, but nonetheless still a fine paint scheme.
He'll get a new one when we go to start the race.
Yeah, everyone will have a new paint scheme. There are no resets, but just in the transition from the heat race to the main event. So we saw the 8 of Matt Alverson trying to hold his own on the outside with the 30 of Corey Carpenter, trying to do a slide job in front of him and couldn't quite do it. They made contact and it sent the 8 spinning into the outside wall in turn 4. And that is our caution for the third heat. Gave it the Corey LaJoie hair flow from the hood. Yes, I could tell it really blended well together. If Ken were here tonight, he would just give Gary Lewis a Sasquatch award for that car.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. No, he definitely would. So we see the 34. Looks like Matthew Robinson has come down pit road. We saw him get into the outside wall quite a bit in the early laps of this heat. So the 30 of Corey Carpenter leads with James Scioli in second. Ryan Hart's in the third spot for that number 3. And speaking of the number 3, Austin Dillon had a pretty good night. Saturday night under the lights at Martinsville. Looking like Ryan Hart's is replicating that same speed for that number 3 car. So it looks like the lights have gone out on the pace truck, meaning we'll have 1 lap. Well, actually, we'll be going green this lap. Nope, the lights are still on. But the 34 of Matthew Robinson in pit road still, servicing that number 34 car. He might just be selling it in for the night. As now we see the field double file, so now we'll have the restart this time by. So Corey Carpenter, the leader, chooses the bottom groove to restart the heat from. James Scioli, that number 7 butt kicker machine on the outside. And we got Ryan Hart's James Shainwolf now in the 31, up to 4th. Then we have Michael Larch, Forrest Smith, and Matt Alverson rounding out the rest of the field, with Gary Lewis in the 9th spot, 1 lap down. And we are back underway here for heat number 3. And boy, that outside line has a charge. It's going to be James Scioli. They're going to go 3 wide for the lead in turn 2. Shainwolf trying to come up. He can't quite do it. They're going to touch. Skylerly in the wall. Shane Wolf to the lead. Carpenter down the second, trying to hold on with the 7 of Skylerly with a charge on the outside. Ryan Hart's trying to get into action as well. Boy, Shane Wolf sent it 3 wide and got what he wanted. He's in the lead with 4 laps to go, and the 7 is James Skylerly. Looks like he'll clear Corey Carpenter for that second spot. Three laps to go now as the 31 continues to lead the way on the outside groove, trying to get as close to the wall as he can without touching it. So we're starting to see this cushion widen out. Two laps to go. The 7 of James Skylerly trying everything he can to get up to that bumper of the 31, and Corey Carpenter scraping the wall there in the middle of 1 and 2. He's still in the wall as they come off of turn 2. So we'll see if the 7 can get up to the 31, who's getting closer and closer to that wall as we approach the final lap here for heat number 3. Boy, not a good corner that time for James Skylerly. He tried sending it on the bottom and lost more ground than gained. And the 31 of James Shane Wolf, after an impressive dive bomb from the last restart, is going to come off turn 4 and win heat number 3. A great move from the 31 that's going to slot him third in the main event, with the pair of Jameses moving up 1 row. So they started both in row 2, and they'll move into row 1 for this finishing order of the heat. James Shane Wolf wins it. James Skylerly second. Corey Carpenter third, with Ryan Hartz and Michael Arch rounding out the top 5, and Forrest Smith, Matt Alverson, Gary Lewis, and Matthew Robinson rounding out the rest of the field. And now we'll have our starting order for the final heat of the night before our main event. And it will be led by Boyd Hogan in the number 96 on the pole, with the number 36 car of Randy Bechtel starting to his outside. In row number 2, it's going to be Ed Robertson in the 64. And then starting alongside him, Jake Nichols, last week's winner at Phoenix, going to start 4th. And row number 3, going to be the 11 of Jordan Martin, and on his outside is Mark Patterson. Row 4, Brian Dixon and Alan Balancino, with the number 50 of Brian Wasserman with a row to himself, starting 9th. Harold, I want to get your thoughts on what we've been seeing so far in the previous 3 heats up to this point.
Well, basically, we were seeing that the rubber's starting to lay down a groove on entry, which basically means the drivers need to make a decision entering. They're going to go low or high. The middle line is starting to go away early. And as you said, it seems like the outside line is going to continue to move up the track. As you see here, all that slick that they're driving through is the 36s on the outside in the good dry dirt. And you don't want to be where that black or slicky looking is, because it's like oil and you'll just slide. But James Shane Wolf showed us getting closer and closer to the outside, which is kind of interesting considering the fact that on an oval, on an actual cement or asphalt oval, you don't want to get really high because that's where the marbles sit. But out here, you're going to see these guys get as close to that wall without hitting it as they can to keep their momentum through the corners. We get ready to go up on our 4th heat here.
Yep, heat number 4 underway from Bristol. And it'll be after this heat where the poll will be dropped and you guys can make your choice of who will win. Like what cup team will win tonight's main feature, which is 100 laps. And the number 96 of Boyd Hogan looking to win this heat so he can start 4th in the main event. That is what these drivers are going for. And he is ripping that outside a little too hard, scraping the wall, but keeping it going. Meanwhile, they're door-to-door all over the place for second back there between Randy Bechtel and Ed Robertson. As Boyd Hogan is checking out from the rest of the field, it is back to second where they are swapping the spot. Ed Robertson has it for the moment. Now Jake Nichols has it as they are all over the place. Jake Nichols actually trying to slide in front of the 64 of Ed Robertson, and it looked like he will. But Boyd Hogan is in a league of his own. He's getting as close to the wall as we've seen anyone tonight, and it's paying off as the gap to him is almost 2 seconds. Here's everyone behind, basically running that top groove, and it's really a battle for second as we see the bumps come into play with Jake Nichols holding on to second, Ed Robertson holding on to third. Nichols is also pretty close to that outside wall, but at a pace that is not similar to Boyd Hogan. I mean, he's completely checked out. Oh, and Nichols in the wall very hard. He's going to keep holding on to that second spot. But that's going to allow the 64 vet Robertson to get closer. We'll start to see the 91 move down to the racetrack. Robertson holding that outside. He's getting a little loose, but he gets that run off the corner that will get him somewhat of an advantage going into turn one. He's actually going to take the low approach. Actually, no, he'll move up high. And right behind him, Randy Bechtel in the number 36 machine trying to make a move. So 91 is sort of checked out, not quite. So 64 vet Robertson holding on to what he's got. We have 2 laps in this fourth heat. But man, it is all Boyd Hogan, that number 96. Since the drop of the green flag, he has checked out. He's actually caught lap traffic in the 51 of Mark Patterson as the white flag is out. Final lap in heat number 4. That just shows how fast the 96 is. I mean, he's looks like he's got race-winning speed underneath that machine. From Elwood Design Esports, Boyd Hogan's going to come off turn 4 and win the 4th and final heat tonight, and that'll slot him 4th in the starting order. And it'll give that car a good smack on the wall for good measure. So Boyd Hogan wins heat number 4 with Jake Nichols finishing 2nd, Ed Robertson 3rd, Randy Bechtel 4th, and Jordan Martin rounding out the top 5 with Alan Balancino. Brian Wasserman getting that spot ahead of Mark Patterson with Brian Dixon last of that heat. And now we will bunch everything up into one big main event, the 100-lap main event for the Bristol Dirt Derby. Coming up right now, we have our starting order. So the first 4 positions are your heat winners, with Justin Wilson on the pole winning the first heat. Jacob Bell starting 2nd, winning the 2nd heat. And then row 2, your heat 3 and 4 winners, with Shane Wolf winning heat 3 and Boyd Hogan winning heat 4. And then row 3 for 4 will be the second place drivers in those heats, with Cameron Ernst starting 5th, Eli Green 6th. And in row number 4, it's James Scioli and the number 91 of Jake Nichols, last week's winner at Phoenix. Row 5, it's going to be Garrett Heath and Brad Slaughter. Row number 6, Corey Carpenter and Ed Robertson. Row 7, David Weishart and Nick Johnston. Row 8, Ryan Hartz and Randy Bechtel, with row number 9 consisting of Garrett Grant and Connor Okrezik. Row 10 will find the number 2 of Michael Arch with the number 11 of Jordan Martin. And in row number 11, Dwayne Culberson, the overall pole sitter, not having a good first heat, so he'll have to make up some ground from the 21st position, with Chris Fine starting alongside him. And we got Forrest Smith and Alan Balancino in row 12, with Will Davis and Paul Irvin in row 13. Row 14 is going to be Matt Alverson and Brian Wasserman, with row 15 consisting of Dom DeLeo in the 22 and Tyler Nichols in the 79. And the last 3 rows we have with Gary Lewis, Mark Patterson. Then we got the 49 car, Jay Perkins and Daniel Miglin, Matthew Robinson, Brian Dixon, Ryan Swan, and Delonte Ballard rounding out the 38 car field for tonight's 100-lap main event. So I went with the overall pole sitter for my race pick with Dwayne Culberson in the 81, and Harold has gone for the number 77 of Jacob Bell. He qualified 2nd in overall time, and he won the 2nd heat, so that puts him at 2nd for the main event.
Yep. So we'll look at it. So get ready to go. To have fun now. Now the fun starts. No more cautions that don't count. 100 laps.
Yeah, caution laps will count for the main event here. Pace Truck's going to make the hard left turn on the pit road with Justin Wilson and Jacob Bell leading the way. We are green flag racing from the last great Coliseum here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
track has been reconditioned and reset in its fresh condition between the heat races and the race itself. As you can see, the rubber is gone. As you see Justin Wilson in that first spot.
And race fans, you can now bet your channel points as to which team will win tonight's race. So we have the first place driver, Justin Wilson. I believe he's on an open team. He is on an open team, so that is not the case. So that could throw a screwball in. But the next highest driver is the 31 of James Shanewolf from Elite Entertainment. So you would just type in !bet Elite and then say 10 channel points on Elite Entertainment to win tonight's race. As we see the 14 of Connor O'Kresick moving on to pit road, with Justin Wilson putting up the fastest lap of the race. There's O'Kresick there coming through pit road, actually coming off pit road.
Not open yet.
Oh, it's not open yet.
It says.
Interesting. Huh.
There's no contest currently running. So maybe we have to keep working on it. We all right, though.
It is in the works, just like this battle for the lead with Shanewolf closing in on Justin Wilson. It is in the works. He is all over the bumper of that 58 machine as we're already approaching lap traffic. That is the 03 of Brian Dixon that they are working on. As this will spice some things up. Whoa, sideways there's the 31 of Shanewolf. The caution is out on the racetrack. Oh boy, we'll have to take a look at what caused this and have to stack them back up as we'll take a look at our one-to-go replay.
Matt Alverson possibly involved in this one.
Matt Alverson at number 8 with the 81 of Dwayne Culberson just in front of him, and it looked like there as he's trying to rip the outside.
And he hits the wall, but the 11 actually got loose in front of him and kind of probably affected his entry.
Oh, and that is not a good place to be sideways at. Look at the drivers avoiding to miss him. So that was the cause of our first caution for tonight's race, and that was the 11 of Jordan Martin, who was sideways, and that is how the number 8 of Matt Alverson reacted to it.
Yeah, I saw the 11 car miss the corner, and then I think he lifted when, if he changes the balance of the car going into the corner, it makes it much harder to control, and that's what I think why he hit the outside retaining wall, and pretty much it.
So Justin Wilson leads the field under our first caution of tonight's Bristol Dirt Derby, presented by Elite Entertainment. We would like to thank Elite Entertainment for their support of the new Elite Entertainment Cup Series this season and from all of us here at Area. Be sure to check out Elite Entertainment on Facebook and book them to DJ your next event. So Elite Entertainment has their driver James Shanewolf running in the second spot, pretty good, and Cameron Hearn, P3 on the racetrack currently, also pretty good. They've got other drivers. I don't believe Adam Capps is in the field. Nope. He's
Adam
not
Capps
in tonight.
Is actually not on the team.
Oh, he's not.
He owns it, but he's not on it.
He's taken. He was at Daytona this year.
He was on the track, but he wasn't. Because I had the list and it wasn't any. I don't believe he was, because Elite is. Oh, I guess he is for Cup. He isn't in the other series. So it's Shanewolf, Capps, Robertson, Hearn, and Cup. So you're right. I'm wrong, but hey, I'm the producer. I'm always right.
Yeah, so Adam Capps is not in the field, and as you mentioned, the other driver is Ed Robertson. And Ed Robertson looking through here on the field. He's currently 9th. So all the Elite Entertainment drivers that have showed up for their night's race are all inside the top 10, with, I'd say, 2 of them, considering Cameron Hearn is always fast everywhere, and the 31 of James Shanewolf showing the speed he has, not only in just the heat race, but in this quick opening stint of the main event as well. they have a pretty good chance at winning tonight's race. And we already saw you trying to use some of your channel points as to picking that. But if Justin Wilson goes on to win this race, then no one would win anyway, because he is not listed on a team. So we will be going back green this time. Pace truck pulls into pit road with Justin Wilson leading on the bottom and getting a good jump on that restart. Boy, the 31 did not have a good one at all. The field spreads out 2 and 3 wide, racing through the first and second turns as Eli Green is into the wall. James Shanewolf closing in ever so slightly on that bumper of Justin Wilson. Got Cameron Hearn right behind, who's going to get a little tap from Eli Green in the 0-2. Things got a little squirrely there. The 31 clipping the outside wall just a tad bit. Cameron Hearn looking for that second spot. Eli Green still all over the back bumper of that 67. And here comes the 96 of Boyd Hogan. But the caution is back out once again, so we will have to re-rack them up and stack them up. As the 58 car, Justin Wilson continues to lead. We're looking back here for our one to go replay, and it looks like that's the 45 of Chris Seinfeld. Boy, there's carnage going all over the place in front of him, with him making contact with the 7 of Scioli and the 30 of Corey Carpenter into the wall with
everybody
a number
everywhere.
of cars. Yeah, everybody everywhere.
Everywhere. It's right. Everybody everywhere.
So the 58 car continues to lead the race under caution. Now, caution laps do count in the main event, so these guys are losing precious time on the track to be able to move their way up through the field, like we saw with Boyd Hogan moving up. He fell back a bit on the start, but he's worked his way up to the 5th spot. And we're seeing the same with Jacob Bell. He started second in this main event, faded a little bit at the beginning. Then we saw him start to slowly work his way back up through the field on that last restart, and we'll see if that can continue for both drivers. While we're under caution, we would like to remind you that the CNC Logging Truck Series will be racing on this half-mile dirt coliseum tomorrow night here on the Area iRacing channel. And it's even more fun when trucks go mudding than the Cup car. And that will be with Ken Kushwa and Dylan Young on the call, along with Harold Darner as executive producer once again. And there'll be a Sasquatch award or two given out from the good old Ken Kushwa.
Yeah, the hairy guy, he'll be hanging around. He's not that far from here, from Bristol, though. He likes to hang out in West Virginia, so small commute, a lot less than Phoenix.
Yeah, a lot less than Phoenix. Kind of more noticeable in Phoenix than in West Virginia and Bristol. So the field continues to pace under caution. We will begin the one to go this time by where it seems like the race leader Justin Wilson will choose that bottom line once again. And there we go. The lights are out on top of the pace truck, and it is once again Justin Wilson leading the way on the bottom. James Shanewolf on the outside with Cameron Hearn and Eli Green sharing third and fourth for row number 2, with Boyd Hogan and that number 96 and Jacob Bell in the 77. Going to restart P6. Don't count out that 96 car just yet. We already know he's got a fast car just from the heat race alone. And if he gets if he gets a couple more spots, watch out, because that 96 car will be coming in a hurry.
I think when we start to see the track rubber in, he should be one of the guys to watch to take the high line to get to pass cars along the outside. As you see Shane Wolf here looking the same way. Oh, Eli gives him a nice hit. Able to keep it out there. Shane, good job with holding that car together.
Oh, no, they're in the wall. Caution's already out, but they were getting awfully dicey back there for the third spot, nearly wrecking up front. But towards the back, there might have been a crash that set off the caution, and we'll take a look at that, or want to go replay once again.
Yeah, there was quite a few cars involved in 2Xs, so... Oh, wow. 36 was turning around.
That's Randy Bechtel in the 36.
I'm going to back that up. You see what happened here. What had happened was...
Collected quite a bit of drivers in this. So I'll have to get a good look here and see what caused this. Oh.
Well, the 2 and the 36 get into each other, and the 22 finishes
Dom
them off.
Yeah, and these guys just have nowhere to go in the back, piling in.
So Justin Wilson remains the leader, 21 in.
Yep, the third caution out. Lap 21. You mentioned Justin Wilson is leading. Oh, there's our want to go logo. We have some drivers down pit road, and actually some drivers are actually retired from the race. Looks like the only one that's disconnected so far is James Skyly in that number 7. Although Garrett Grant is also 7 laps down, but he's still on pit road. Alan Balancino also in pit road with Corey Carpenter, Paul Irvin, and Forrest Smith. We got Mark Patterson, Gary Lewis, Connor Okresic, all 1 lap down. So 28 drivers on the lead lap, with the last of which being the 03 of Brian Dixon, just in front of that number 58 car.
He should be on the tail end of the lead lap to 03, which he is, so he'll get the wave at...
Could see the one to go this time by, and there are 2 cars in front of the race leader. That is number 49 of Jay Perkins and the 03 of Brian Dixon. They're looking to get the wave around. The field is doubling up, and it looks like they're working their way around the pace truck. And once again, Justin Wilson will lead on the bottom with James Shanwolf on the outside. Cameron Hearn and Eli Green going to restart 3rd and 4th. They nearly caused an accident up front. That last restart going through turn 2. So we're looking to see if these guys can sort of settle it out. The 96 of Boyd Hogan on the bottom and Jacob Bell on the outside for row number 3. Whoa, we got a little stack-up effect going on here with Nick Johnston trying to make it 3 wide. Not really sure what's going on there. Nonetheless, we're back green at Bristol with James Shanwolf having a clear opportunity on the outside to take the lead away from Justin Wilson, and it looks like he's going to do just that.
Cameron down low under the 0-2 here.
What a move from the 31 of James Shanwolf to take the lead away from Justin Wilson. And Wilson might be under attack from Eli Green here in just a moment for that 2nd spot. Oh, he's in the wall, and so is Cameron Hearn. He's going to lose that spot. And he's going to be 3 wide now with Cameron Hearn and Boyd Hogan on the bottom. Boyd Hogan moving up to 3rd. That number 96 car coming to life. Scraping the wall just a bit. But keeping that thing straight. So Justin Wilson falling from 1st to 4th on that most recent restart. And Boyd Hogan scraping the wall once again, trying to make up all that ground. Boy, he's under attack now from Justin Wilson. Cameron Hearn as well. 3-car battle for that 3rd spot. Wilson trying to keep that momentum going on the bottom, but can't quite do it as we move back. Ed Robertson in the 6th spot. kind of in the catbird seat, waiting to see
Ooh,
what happens in front of
Slaughter
him.
head into the wall.
Slaughter in the wall, the 64 sideways. They both keep their cars straight. Boyd Hogan now trying to regain that third spot. Justin Wilson actually takes it away from him, and now Cameron Hearn looking to the outside. Can't quite get a run. He'll see if he can power slide it through 1 and 2. Boyd Hogan going to keep that spot, working the bottom, but James Shell's actually lost the lead to Eli Green. Eli Green is in the lead, and now we have another caution on the racetrack. Boy, there's a lot of action going on at this racetrack, so we'll take a look at our one-to-go replay once again to find the cause of the caution, and it looks to be, just in front of 14 of Conor O'Kresick. That's the 4 of Dan Miglin. Yep, Daniel Miglin in the 4. We'll see what happened to that number 4 machine. He just loses it on his own.
He sees the 33 up in the wall. Keep an eye in front of him. Look, watch the 33. See him wall, and he sees it. Now it's a bad reaction for back, but that's what happened. That's what I believe happened, at least.
Man, there's nowhere to go for the 14 of Conor O'Kresick there on the outside.
But Eli Green quietly taking the lead.
Yeah, Eli Green took the lead underneath all that chaos going on for third between Justin Wilson, Boyd Hogan, and the 67 of Cameron Hearn. And in the meantime, don't look now, but Jake Nichols is up to P6 in that number 91, looking to go back-to-back after winning last week's race at Phoenix. So the 0-2 of Eli Green finds himself in the lead under Team Transcendent with the caution coming out. And there's the 77 of Jacob Bell. Quite a bit of damage as he was running in the back half of that top 10. Looks like he got some of that optional repair underneath that 77 machine. For Jacob Bell Racing, their highest driver at the moment is Ryan Hartson, the number 3. He's still in the 7th spot, running inside the top 10. And it looks like the lights. Oh no, they're still on top of the pace car. So we got one more lap under caution around this racetrack. There's a good look at that number 02 of Eli Green. Nice, bright, and pink stands out underneath the lights here at Bristol.
Like everybody's got damage.
Yeah, it'll be amazing to find a car without damage as the field doubles up now. There is no incident.
No limit.
No limit. Yeah, there we go. No limit for incident points because it is a dirt track and there's a lot of beating and banging here. So there's no incident limit. So these guys can beat and bang as much as they want. The 0-2 of Eli Green chooses the bottom. James Shanwolf on the outside. The pace truck rolls back into pit road. The 0-2 and the 31. Oh, not a good restart there for the 0-2 of Eli Green. Back underway at Bristol, but the 31 of Shane Wolf nearly got a better jump than the 0-2 of Eli Green there. Seeing these cars now slide back to the outside as the groove's starting to widen out a good bit. Side by side and in the back for third, Boyd Hogan on the top, Justin Wilson on the bottom with the 91 of Jake Nichols starting to work his way through the field. Hogan's going to get in the wall. Go bit sideways, lose some track position. Falling all the way back to the 8th spot. Boy, he must have hit that wall pretty good And he's starting to fall outside the top 10 now. So that number 96 falling like a rock after making some pretty significant contact with the outside wall. Oh, and Shane Wolf in the wall too. Now that's going to allow the 58 of Justin Wilson to creep back in the second spot. Boyd Hogan has fallen back to the 21st position. He's still falling. Something is amiss with that number 96. He's got quite a bit of damage from that contact made on the outside as he's looking to keep that car straight and trying to hold on to everything he can. Actually, the 91 of Jake Nichols is in pit road. So something amiss with the 91. Looking to make a pit stop here, but he was running inside the top 5. So now we see the 02 Eli Green, our race leader, catching lap traffic. That is the one of Ryan Swan. Going to pull off to the bottom, get out of the way of the leader with Justin Wilson now 7 car lengths back, and the caution's back out. 5th caution of the race on lap number 59, and it looks like the car there on the inside wall. Couldn't quite tell who it was. It might have been... No, it's not Ed Robertson. It was a bright red car. Red and black car. We'll get a replay to show you what exactly took place, and it might have been... No, it's not the 3 of Ryan Hart's. Oh, it might have been. No, but he made good contact with the wall. Try to see. It might be the 00 Will Davis right here. Into the wall. Yep. Spinning in the 51. Into the barrels. Boy, big lick for that 00. Will Davis, part of Elwood Design Esports. Part of that caution, along with... Excuse me. Along with the 51 of Mark Patterson from Fizika's Motorsports. So under caution again here from the half-mile dirt track, Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum. Eli Green continues to lead the way with Justin Wilson running in second with James Shane Wolf third. Cameron Hearn fourth, and hoping Brad's grandfather is still tuned in because grandson is up to the 5th spot. Ed Robertson going to be 6th, David Weishart 7th, Ryan Hart's 8th, 81 of Dwayne Culberson 9th, and Dom DeLeo rounding out the top 10. And just a quick shout out to Dom DeLeo, a big Mets fan. The Mets blew a 4-0 lead to the Philadelphia Phillies in the 8th inning and lost the game 5-4. Felt like I should point that out as a Phillies fan, so that message specifically for Dom DeLeo. Just a little shout out there if you consider that a shout out.
Mm-hmm.
And to make matters even worse, a former Mets pitcher closed out the game against the Mets and won it.
Oh, no.
Adding salt to the wound. But nonetheless, he has moved inside the top 10, as has Dwayne Culberson in the 81. Now, Dwayne Culberson was the pole sitter on time, but did not have a good first heat. He actually led every lap in the first heat, but at the very end was caught up in a last lap wreck when the second place driver looked to the inside to try and pass him, and both of them spun out, and that allowed Justin Wilson to scoop by and win the race, and that would put him on the pole. And he's been up here for pretty much the entire race. He's been inside the top 10, mostly top 5 for the entirety of the main event, but he's still in it to win it. And the 81 of Dwayne Culberson has had to fight and claw his way from the 21st position into where he's at right now in the 9th spot. So the lights are out on top of the pace car, and Eli Green going to choose the outside lane this time. It's a bit intriguing. We've seen everyone, as the leader, restart from the bottom, not from the top. So the pace truck's going to make his way down pit road once again, with Eli Green and Justin Wilson leading the way. This time from the outside for Eli Green. A good jump there, and we are back underway racing at the Coliseum. The last great Coliseum, excuse me. There's a difference between the two, at least for this year.
Yep, for this year. So the number 23 of Garrett Heath reporting that he was issued the affectionate flag called Meatball, the black flag with the orange dot, basically saying he needed to be repaired before he can come back on the track, and he decided to put it in the hauler instead.
Good thing to note, as last time by, the O2 smacked the outside wall. And that's allowed the 58 of Justin Wilson to close in. Cameron Hearn holding on to that third spot, but fighting a loose car is now James Shanewolf is looking to the outside for that third place bout, but they've seemed to settle it out for the moment. Brad Slaughter still running in the fifth spot. You see his grandfather still watching, tuning in. Up front, the O2 of Eli Green leading the way. Justin Wilson trying to do whatever he can to get up alongside of that O2 as we see the bumps there on the outside coming out of turn 2 really start to upset the car. Not sure if we'll see that from the real Cup Series going at it Sunday night. Might see them run a little bit lower like what we're seeing with the O2 of Eli Green right now, but Cameron Hearn's starting to settle in and has his sights set on Justin Wilson. Leo to be like, are you continuing to lead his way?
Caution back out.
And the caution comes out just as we're about to approach the halfway point of the race. We'll have a 1 to go replay here at what exactly caused the caution. It looks like Mark Patterson in the 51 getting... trying to run the bottom.
So up on the wall here. And then that's Mr. Patterson. I saw Patterson, Larch, and Miglin all get 2 X's. So there's the 2 completely sideways. I think that would be what started it. So
yep, and that is what ended it.
Mr. Michael Larch.
Michael Larch getting into Daniel Miglin and Mark Patterson, causing the most recent caution to come out. And we'd like to take the time to do our halfway rundown under the yellow, presented by Swift Lifestyles. Fans, be sure to visit our sponsor, Swift Lifestyles, for clean supplements that can help improve your focus in gaming. Use the discount code on your screen, AREA iRacing, AREA iRacing, for 15% off any order on their website. We would once again like to give a big thanks to Swift Lifestyles for their continued support of AREA iRacing. Now, Eli Green has taken over as the race leader about halfway through the first, I shouldn't say segment, but the first half of the race. And he hasn't looked back. He's made everyone's made contact with the wall, but not as much as Eli Green, and he's continued to keep that O2 Transcendent machine in the lead. And in the second spot, your pole sitter from the main event, Justin Wilson. He's also led a good bit. He's actually he's led more laps than Eli Green, but that's bound to change. But nonetheless, he's faded a little bit, and he's worked his way back up to the second spot. Whereas the car behind him, James Shanewolf, he's been in the lead for a couple laps or so. Nonetheless, he is still showing speed. Well, it was actually a third-place car, Cameron Hearn, a mind-boggle to me for Elite Entertainment Gaming in the number 67. He's also had a pretty fast car, and James Shanewolf, the other leader of the race, I would point out. Both of these guys have pretty fast cars. It's really tough to get a good run on our leader. And these guys are trying to fight and claw their way through. And Brad Slaughter in the 5th position. The Area 500 winner having a good run, as is the number 3 of Ryan Hartz. Ryan Hartz in the 3, having a solid run as well in the Rick's Hot Sauce. Number 3 for Jacob Bell Racing. And right behind him, you can add another 3 to that machine. That is David Weishart. He was running up front at one point. It's faded a little bit to around the back half of this top 10, where he currently finds himself 7th on the racetrack. Then the number 81 of Dwayne Culberson had to start back in 21st after a poor finish in heat number 1. He was the overall pole sitter on time, but so far that number 81 Solar Flare Racing machine has fine clawed his way back inside the top 10, and Chris Simon as well. inside the top 10, having a solid night, but of course not without some scrapes and some bangs on that number 45 machine. And rounding out the top 10 is Ed Robertson. Boy, Ed Robertson has had an up and down kind of night. Was inside the top 10, then wasn't inside the top 10. Now he's back inside the top 10, and he's looking to get that number 64 on cruise control to the top 5 positions on the track. And that was your halfway rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles. Pace lights are out on the pace truck. They'll go green this time by Eli Green once again choosing the outside lane over Justin Wilson. And here we go, back green at Bristol. Time with 45 laps to go in our main event. That 0-2 is clicking it, and the 3 of Ryan Hartz is clicking it as well, looking for that 4th spot. It's a gaggle of cars back there for that 4th position. Door to door with Brad Slaughter and number 45, the Scienfine, along with the 33 of Weissart getting in the mix of this as well, as the caution has come out once again. And the Scienfine actually spun into the barrels right there. Under the caution, the 45 of Chris Scienfine spins into the barrels. As we're looking, and it might be the 31 of James Shamwolf that's brought out our caution. Boy, he had a bad restart there. So we're looking there, he was blinking in and out. And there he is. He comes back, spun around on the racetrack. Kind of hard to tell what exactly happened to the 31 as he was blinking in and out there. But nonetheless, that is the cause of our most recent caution. Not really sure how he got a bad restart, but I would assume it would be the blinking issues that has come to haunt the number 31 machine. But after all that, Ryan Hart's up to 4th after that most recent restart, and he had a gaggle of cars with him fighting for that 4th spot with 88 of Brad Slaughter on the inside, and Scienfine and Weissart breathing close from behind. Dwayne Culberson up to 8th, Ed Robertson up to 9th, and Jordan Martin now finds himself inside the top 10 in that number 11 car.
All right, so 60 of the 100 have been done.
Yep, we have 40 laps left, and I was actually just about to ask you, Harold, is the madness over? Are we still going to see drivers going 3 wide, beating and banging through the corners?
We still got over 30 cars on a half-mile track that's covered in dirt. So I think we still got a lot of cars that can be beating and banging each other, so...
We see the lights are still on top of the pace truck, and they come around this time by, we'll see the 1 to go signal. Here we go, lights are out on the pace car or pace track, and we're seeing once again the leader Eli Green choosing the outside lane.
Well, he's protecting that high line, which is the line that people want. Now you start to see that slick coming in as you see the pace truck going through that with his right side tires. So looks like Eli Green is going to try to keep himself on the outside of the dark spot as we're going through here in the corners. You're going to take the high side, and that's going to force the 58 to stay underneath that, because once your rear tires get on there, it's just like being on a slick of oil. can't get no grip.
So we'll see the O2 get a nice jump here. Back green flag racing here at Bristol. And it seems like going forward, if Eli Green is somehow able to lose that lead, could we see the leader restart from the outside again? Seems like the outside lane is the lane you want to be in, especially on the restart now, with Eli Green once again leading the way through. Justin Wilson, Cameron Hearn fighting. And they're all up in the wall back there, 3 wide. It is a mess third on back with the red cars of Robertson, Weishart, and Seidenfeld. And there is the 64 vet Robertson spinning into the inside wall. He's essentially off the racetrack, so still green here. But up front, it seems like that 58 of Justin Wilson has closed in on our leader, Eli Green. He's starting to find a rhythm. Now he's got to find a way around the O2. Boy, these guys are giving it their all. Oh, and you see the bumps right there. That's what I was talking about in the pre-race, and we didn't quite see it in qualifying, but the bumps right outside of turn 2 just upset the car so much. We nearly saw both drivers go into the outside wall that last time by. Another strong run from Justin Wilson on the outside. A low approach there from Eli Green, still maintaining a distance of about 2 car lengths or so. As the caution comes out once again. It looks like this might have involved the 45 of Chris Seidenfeld. He's on the pit lane, and Justin Wilson, or excuse me, James Shamwolf might be another cause of this caution as well.
Oh, the 2 of Michael Larch.
Michael Larch once again.
And in the 31 up into the wall. And you got the people in front of him. There's a couple different places there. So probably Michael Larch would be my gut feeling there. So
yeah, it looks like Michael Larch was a part of that last caution. With just a little over 30 to go here from the Bristol Dirt Derby for the Elite Entertainment Cup Series. Less than 30 laps to go, or closing on 30 laps to go, brought to you by CNC Logging. We would like to thank CNC Logging for their support of the newly named CNC Logging Truck Series this season in the area. Located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, CNC Logging is your place to go for any of your logging needs. Got wood, big or small, summer or fall, we'll cut your log, guaranteed. CNC Logging. Don't know what car that was, but we saw a car spun on the apron. Couldn't quite tell what car that was. But we got calamity all over the racetrack. Boy, how is that 14 of Connor O'Kresick in the 6th spot? That car has a lot of damage. He was involved in some of the earlier cautions, but he finds himself in the 6th spot. Boy, that is just remarkable what that number 14 car has been able to do. It's actually Justin Wilson has gone on to pit road.
Yeah,
so Justin
Wilson,
he is disconnected. Okay, interesting. So the number 58 of Justin Wilson was running in second, choosing to come down pit road and disconnecting from the server. Could be some not optional but mandatory repairs that have caused the 58 to disconnect, as we had seen in the chat earlier. I believe it was Garrett Heath that had that happen to him.
So quietly to 30% left in this thing.
Very quietly, yeah. So Cameron Hearn's going to have a shot here. Restarting in the 2nd spot, presumably on the inside lane, with, gotta assume Eli Green's going to keep going to that outside lane.
Well, interesting here. Connor O'Kresick and Jacob Bell both in the top 10. Only 2 guys in the top 10 who have gone down the pit lane at all. And you say Connor O'Kresick has 16 incident points. So he's been involved in a lot of bumping around.
He also doesn't have a front bumper. It's gone. It's slowly becoming a modified in front of our eyes.
So the next guy gets a radiator.
Or a radiator, depending on where you're from.
A rat-theater.
Yeah.
That's something like what's on the ratio.
Yeah. So the pace truck coming by once again down pit lane. Eli Green going to restart from the outside. Cameron Earn from the inside, and we're back on our way here from the Bristol Dirt. Don't look now, but Brad Slar in that 88 is on the outside lane. Oh, he just clipped the wall there. Now he's got Ryan Hartz to his inside battle for third. But the 88 slowly creeping his way inside the top two positions as, man, that was a rough corner there for Eli Green. Cameron Hearn looking to get a charge on the inside. Eli Green trying to get the run on the outside. Ryan Hart's up to third. Brad Slaughter down to fourth. But up front, side-by-side battle for the lead. Cameron Hearn nearly making contact with the 0-2 of Eli Green as they roll on through 3 and 4. Cameron Hearn trying to get a run. Oh, did not have a good corner right there. Not at all. Middle of the corner, just dipped down on the track. And the caution is out. And it looks like might include Matt Alverson in the number 8 car. We do see the 30 of Corey Carpenter involved. Yep, right in front. There's a car all the way to the inside.
This Robertson, the 64, but you got
it happened in front.
Oh, the 77, Jacob Bell. And somebody else in front of him.
Jacob Bell, it looks like that's James Shane Wolf. Yeah, there was someone stuck in the tire barriers.
Isn't it? That Matt Alverson?
Yep, Matt Alverson. He was the one that was falling like a rock on the leaderboard, but he finds himself into the barrels here. Very intrigued as to why, as they roll into turn 1. Jacob Bell all the way on the bottom, and the 8 just is loose, and the 77 comes up, and the 8 slides into the barrels. And then Jacob Bell coming back on the track has no idea that Corey Carpenter is down there. And then collects him and the 31 of James Shane Wolf. So we're trying to get back up to speed here. And there we go. We are back live now with the 0-2 of Eli Green still leading. Cameron Hearn in second. Brad Slaughter able to get third back from Ryan Hartz, who falls back to fourth. Connor O'Kresick rounding out the top 5. David Weishart, Dwayne Culberson, Jordan Martin, Dom DeLeo, and Matthew Robinson now inside the top 10.
So Seiden and Shane Wolf disconnected. So we're under 30 drivers left.
Yeah, Shane Wolf disconnecting. Seiden was running 7th, but
he destroyed the wall, right?
He spun into the barrels as one of the yellows came out. I've lost number of how many yellows we've had, but one of the yellows that came out right as it was coming out, he spun, got into the barrels, and that was kind of the end to his night. An unfortunate end there, as we have a good bit of drivers who have disconnected from our server.
We have a single driver with 0 incident points.
Oh, who is that driver?
The number 81, Dwayne Culberson.
Oh, look at that! And that's my pick. Your pick couldn't do that.
Oh no! See, where's my pick at? Jake, where'd you go, man?
Oh man, you just saw him. He was in that last caution.
I know. I'm just trying to see where he's at on the leaderboard now. So I can find
20th,
22nd, and he has
22nd.
10,
he's falling back to 22nd.
He has 10 incident points, but he's on the lead lap still.
That is shocking that there's still one driver who has yet to have an incident point. And you know what? Don't know if anyone's hearing that, but that's me knocking on wood. Because I believe we just jinxed him. You and me both, Harold.
Yep. So it'll be 20 to go when we get the green flag again.
Yep, the lights are out on top of the pace car. Eli Green once again choosing the outside lane to restart the race from. Cameron Hearn going to be second. Brian Hartz on the outside. He's going to be fourth, but third is Brad Slaughter on the inside. Ooh, excuse me. We are closing down to the last 20 laps in this Bristol Dirt Derby for the Elite Entertainment Cup Series, with one of their drivers, Cameron Hearn, having a chance at securing victory. But Eli Green holds the door. We're back green, but he holds that door of victory and defeat. So we see the guys work their way through the hills of turn 2 down into the turn 3. It's a bit of an interesting choice there. Now Eli Green working the bottom instead of the top. And then going back right to the top, but the caution comes back out once again. And it looks like, well, a good bit of drivers here in this one. This is back with the number 49 machine. That is, oh, I just lost it.
Jay Perkins.
Jay Perkins.
There's the number 4 down low, 3 wide. Like Delonte Ballard in front of the 4. Somebody's up into the wall here to 33, David Weiser. I know the 3 car, 64 to 34, Matt Robinson, and they all come up to the wall. Kind of a slow spin there. That was interesting.
A slow train wreck.
It's like, oh no.
I can't stop.
I can't not look. I can't not look.
Can't look away from it. You're just drawn to it. So that is another one of our cautions in tonight's race, with Eli Green still holding on to the lead. I believe he secured most laps led. And that is another bonus point for the driver that leads the most laps. 55. Yep, he has secured that extra point. So our race recap so far from Elwood Designs: 55 laps led by Eli Green, 10 caution. That was our 10th caution for 46 laps, with Justin Wilson posting a 19.430 as our fastest lap, but he has disconnected from the server.
I call it now. I had the pace truck for the most led laps.
It seems like he's losing that battle. It seems like. We have a good bit of drivers on pit road. One of the few races where I don't believe fuel will be an issue for these drivers.
Should not be.
So there are a good number of drivers who have not pitted, but of those that have, running in the 5th spot, as we mentioned previously, Connor O'Kresick in the 14, pitted 34 laps ago. Yeah. 56 laps ago was the 4 of Daniel Miglin, who finds himself inside the top 10 after the wacky night he has had. But then you got to go back to 11th with Brian Wasserman, Mark Patterson, running 11th and 12th respectively on the racetrack. The field goes by the start-finish line once again. We'll have one to go before a restart. With the 0-2 of Eli Green on the outside, Cameron Hearn on the inside, Brad Slaughter, Ryan Hartz. Then we got Dwayne Culberson and Connor O'Kresick, Dom DeLeo, Delonte Ballard, and Daniel Miglin, and Gary Lewis in the 69 in the Sasquatch car. He's back.
He's back.
He's back, and I think they just saw a smile from Ken Kushwa all the way out yonder.
He's actually celebrating my daughter Angel's birthday. Well, they're actually home now, so I heard him come in earlier, about an hour ago.
All right, and we're back green. Oh, sideways is the 67 of Cameron Hearn. Here comes Brad Slaughter trying to generate a run on the outside. Couldn't quite do it. Eli Green liking what he's seeing, trying to get away from that. But the 67, Cameron Hearn coming back for more. So he continues to lead the way. Connor Okresic with a massive send up to third. So that 14 might have something for these top two up here as they're trying to hold it straight going down the backstretch in the turn 3 and 4. Boy, both these guys are running way low on the racetrack. Eli Green doing everything he can, but Cameron Hearn now looks like he's under attack from Connor Okresic in that 14 car.
Coming up on 10 to go.
Yep, 10 to go when he crossed the stripe. Eli Green by half a second over Cameron Hearn. Trying to reel in that 0-2 back within reach. Boy, we've seen this groove go from the bottom to the top, and now we're starting to see the bottom and the middle work. But we'll have to wait until a restart as the caution has come back out once again. Oh, and it looks like it might have collected the 3 of Ryan Hart's. He's listed as 4th on our running board. He just loses it into the wall. Huh.
I wonder if there's something that was behind that, because that doesn't seem like that would have caused a caution.
Might have been behind it. Brian the Sea. Look
for that when the lights turned yellow. So somewhere we need to find it.
Now we have a mystery on our hand. Oh, we got a little party here from Splash and Go. Welcome one and all to the closing stages here of the Bristol Dirt Derby for the Elite Entertainment Cup Series. We've just had a caution come out within 10 laps left in this main event. We're trying to find where the caution came out.
No clue.
No clue, so it'll be left as a mystery. That only means the anticipation will rise higher and higher for those that are looking to move up on the racetrack, including the 67 of Cameron Hearn, as he cannot be second fiddle again. I mean, this will be the 3rd straight week in a row where he's finished second. He finished second in the Area 500 to Brad Slaughter, finished second last week to the number 91 of Jake Nichols.
Yep. The drivers are saying that they need to review that to see if it was caused by the bumps upsetting the car more than the driver. So.
Yeah, we have seen the bumps come into effect quite a bit throughout the race. So the bump might have caused the caution.
Boyd Hogan now has disconnected.
Boyd Hogan has been disconnected for a while. After that contact he had with the outside wall running in 3rd, that car was just not the same, and he decided to park it for the rest of the event.
Forrest Smith's been on pit lane for 22 minutes, and Garrett Grant for 46.
Yeah, those two have disconnected. Along with, most recently, Brian Wasserman has actually disconnected from the server. So we still have 28 cars in the race. Actually, 27, excuse me.
And 20 on the lead lap.
Yep, 20 on the lead lap.
And we only have 5 laps to go. Well, it'd be like 4 laps almost, because pace car lights are still on.
Well, 3. We'll have 3 to go if the lights go. It should go out this time by.
And they did.
And if a caution comes out before we take the white flag, then we go into sudden death green-white checker. We only have 1 attempt at a green-white checker. We are not on that attempt yet. But if a caution comes out before we take the white flag, then we would get a one and final restart. So Eli Green choosing the outside lane with Cameron Hearn on the bottom. Don't count out the 14 of Connor O'Kresick. Don't let that damage fool you. He's got fresher tires than these front two. He's going to restart third. Ryan Hart's fourth, and Brad Slaughter.
That is if he took tires. Not sure if they actually had tires in the booth or not.
Well, we'll see here with 3 to go.
Yeah, they did have tires. Not sure if you would have taken them or if tires really matter that much here.
Oh, he's sending it on Ryan Hart's in the 3, trying to take third on the outside. So the rest of the field works their way down the backstretch in the 3 and 4. Still Eli Green leading. Cameron Hearn right behind with 2 laps to go now. Boy, Cameron Hearn with a massive send on the bottom as they're still beating and banging for that third spot. Going through the bumps. And now working their way into 3 and 4. Eli Green still leading in front of Cameron Hearn. White flag in the air, 1 to go this time, presented by 1 to Go Studios. It's all Eli Green. Cameron Hearn still has a chance. Eli Green a little sideways. Here comes the 67, also sideways. Boy, it's going to be a massive send here from Cameron Hearn on the top. He's going to try and wall ride it through 3 and 4. Can he do it? He's going to do it. He might do it. Coming off of turn 4. It's going to be Cameron Hearn. They spin, and he wins. Cameron Hearn wall rides through 3 and 4 on the last lap, and he passes Eli Green for the win, and a massive melee going into turn 1.
Wow.
He was not going to be denied tonight. He has been second fiddle way too many times this season. He was second in the area 500 after losing it on the last lap, last corner. He was second last week to Jake Nichols in a 91. Tonight, he was not going to be denied of that win. Instead, he puts Eli Green second, and he puts himself in victory lane. And this is not new from Cameron Hearn. We saw him do this in the past, most recently at Nashville last season, trying to send it on the outside. And we actually saw him.
He tried it several times last year, and it never stuck. So
No,
we
it never stuck.
I have to ask him about that. He finally got one to stick.
Well, not only that, at Daytona in the Launchbox Series, he tried to pass in the grass. Actually, that was the Cup Series. My apologies. He tried to pass in the grass and couldn't quite do it. But Cameron Hearn, tonight was his night. He was not going to be denied that win. And we will get our race winner up here in just a moment. Actually, we'll get him right now. It's Cameron Hearn, your race winner. This is Hunter and Harold in the booth. Got a copy?
I got you.
Boy, we have seen you try that wall ride.
It worked
so many times last year. And then this year you tried going through the grass, but it seemed like tonight was going to be your night. You were not going to finish second again. Take us through that last lap and if the plan to wall ride was going to be there if you were within reach. Oh, he's actually disconnected. Huh. Well,
Wait, he left? You said?
Yeah, I am not sure where he went. I thought he went to the admin tower, but he did not.
They gave an EOL, so the race winner is Eli Green.
Oh. Wow. It seems like he will be.
They basically deemed the wall riding not to be legal. So, is what I just got.
That
they
has
just
changed.
sent it to me. So
that has changed everything. And yep, we just got confirmation. The EOL has been given out to Cameron Hearn. That is why he got pulled from the booth. So the race win has been given to the car that has led the most laps tonight. And that is the 0-2 of Eli Green. We have him here right now. Eli, Hunter, Harold in the booth. Got a copy.
Hey, guys.
Boy, this is still shocking news to us, but Cameron Hearn given the EOL after the wall ride attempt. Boy, just kind of in shock right now. But nonetheless, if there was anyone that did deserve to win, it had to be you. You led the most laps. Take us through what was going through your mind on that last lap.
Well, first off, I'm about to lose it, so I don't know if it's a great time to talk to me. I am never been more pissed off in my entire life at how that can be possible. But now that he's gotten EOL, I guess it's fine, but it's still kind of annoying. I don't even know why you would do that. It's so dumb. It's so cheap. I mean, if somebody who's as good as him, it's so cheap. And so it's really, 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 really awful. And it's really pissing me off. This is the only race I'm going to win in the Cups this year. Be honest with you. I'm not going to beat him anywhere else unless he wrecks. And that was just ridiculous. Gosh, I'm so pissed right now. But, yeah, I don't know. It was a good race, I guess. It was okay. It was, it was kind of wild, but it is what it is.
It was a wild race to say the least, and we saw halfway through the race or so that the lane switched from the bottom to the outside on the restarts. Take us through what restarting on the outside, how much of an advantage that was in the later stages of the race.
It was really, really great, honestly. Yeah, I just nobody else had tried it, so I thought, maybe the high line was kind of the better deal there, and so I thought I'd run that first, and then but then it kind of as we got later in the race, at the bottom line really coming off the bottom there, going in kind of lower, coming off the bottom was a lot better. So restarting on the outside really gave you a huge advantage because if you start on the bottom, your car can get really sideways, and you really don't want that to happen. So it's really, if it gets sideways, you're just going to sit there and spin, and so you lose so much. I got great restarts on that high side, which was great. But
Yeah, halfway through the first quarter of the race, you took the lead and did not look back. You led the most laps tonight. Congrats on the win after a wild finish there. Are there any shouts you'd like to give out before you go?
No, I'd just like to thank my team, Drew, taking me on with Team Transcendent. We've been running okay. It's kind of been a rough couple of weeks, but we're here now, so that's good. But other than that, just like to thank my teammates Forrest, Gary, and some Nicholas Trader for helping out as well. So, yep.
All right. Well, a dominating win. You're locked into the playoffs, and we'll let you go ahead and celebrate that win. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right. That was race winner Eli Green. Do apologize for the language. Bit frustrating in the heat of the moment. I brought him up a little bit too quick. But we'll go to our second place finisher after an impressive run in a car that's almost ready for the dump and almost converted into a full modified. That is Connor O'Kresick. Connor, Hunter and Harold in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear.
Boy, well, you were involved in a couple of the early yellows. Obviously, you got a good bit of damage. The whole front of the car is gone. I think the rear of the car is gone as well. But you did pit. Did not see too many guys pit from the front. Take us through what the last stint of the race was like for you after you pitted.
Well, I pitted. I knew I had to take a chance. I figured I was probably a fifth place car. I knew I had to gamble somewhere between a third and fifth place car. So I took a gamble, pitted, restarted 20th, and just marched through the field. I mean, I got through the field a lot quicker than I thought I was going to, and obviously with absolutely destroyed race car. And like I said, I went a lap down early because I shut off my car. So I went a lap down early and just rebounded from that, and I mean it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Don't have any sponsors to thank, as the car's all blue. I mean, if somebody wants to change that's listening, you can give me a shout, and I'll put you on my car.
well, you're the man. I mean, it does say third, but after the OL given to Cameron Hearn for his wall ride there on the last lap, you do come home second. What was your vantage point of that? Watching Cameron wall ride on the outside past Eli Green?
If I had to guess, what my guess would be is I think he went off in the corner just way too hard and then knew he was going to miss it and either end up fifth or sixth, so he just went for it around the wall. But I mean, that's completely on him. Shouldn't have done that, obviously. Eli was the deserving winner. He was the best car. I mean, all night, absolutely dominated. So I'm glad to see that he got the win.
Indeed, and I would ask you if there are any shouts you'd like to give out before you go, but I think you already made it clear. You got no sponsors on the car. Someone sponsor this man. He finished second with half the car missing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, no sponsors right now. Anybody wants to come join on the car, just send me a DM or something. We'll get you on the car.
All right, that was second place driver Connor O'Kresick. Have a good night, my man.
All right, thank you.
So he comes home third, but after the OL, he is given second. And the driver given third after the OL is none other than the number 3 of Ryan Hartz. Ryan, Hunter, and Harold in the booth got a copy.
Hey, Hunter, what's going on?
Oh, still trying to process this. Cameron Hearn given the EOL, so instead of finishing fourth, you finished third, and we saw you work your way from the back to the front. What was that like? Because it just seemed like utter chaos everywhere around the racetrack.
Yeah, I came into the practice session and I ran a horrible lap time, and I think I posted like a 26th place lap time. And at that point, I thought I was screwed because I thought I was really, really slow. But I did decent in my heat and started 15th. And I thought I was going to just hang back there for the whole entire race, but I look up on like lap 20 and I'm in 7th and I'm already in the top 10. So yeah, I kept making strides throughout the whole entire race, and man, I'm just I can't believe I'm sitting here talking to you because I did not think I was going to be good tonight, but luckily got a good finish out of this thing.
Yeah, you kept chipping away at it, and it was sort of similar to what we saw from your favorite driver, Austin Dillon, in the Martinsville race on Saturday night. Just kept chipping away, started in the back, worked his way to the front, and oddly enough, both of you finished in the third spot in the number 3 car. Kind of cool there. Do want to ask you, though, what your thoughts were as you saw. I don't know if you got a good vantage point of it from Cameron Hearn wall running on the outside. Connor O'Kresick gave his opinion, said it looked like he might have clipped the wall there, going a little bit too hard, and just decided to keep his foot in it instead of losing spots to try and win the race there. What are your thoughts on that?
To be honest, I didn't even pay attention to the top 2 because I was so focused on trying to finish in the third spot, and I really wanted the podium for good points. But yeah, what Connor mostly said was probably true. I mean, he probably clipped the wall and just said, "Ah, screw it, I'll just rim ride the whole thing." Yeah, if I was in his position, I would have thought about it. I don't know if I would have done it, but I don't know. I've never seen anything like that. It's pretty impressive that he still crossed the line first. But yeah, he probably just said screw it and went for it and see what happens.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about it, we have a still shot of you coming across the line sideways, holding off Brad Slaughter. So it looked like you did have a handful there. But nonetheless, as we mentioned, a third place finish, the first podium of the season. Good points stay as well. Are there any shouts you'd like to give out before you go?
Yeah, thank Jacob Bell Racing. Thanks to everybody on the team, Jordan Martin, Jacob Bell, and Ryan Swan. They've been doing a good job at helping me become a better driver in this series. Like I said, I'm trying to make some important strides and making the playoffs this year and getting a few wins. So got to thank you guys also. You guys are doing a pretty good job broadcasting. Thanks to everybody racing me clean tonight. That was a lot of fun, even though with all the yellows.
I do want to point out he did win last year's race at Dover, and Dover is 2 weeks away from tonight. So keep an eye on the number 3 car, looking to retain that victory lane there in Dover, Delaware. Have a good night, Ryan.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that was third place finisher Ryan Hartz. Now we'll get you your finishing results here in just a moment. So Cameron Hearn was given an EOL. This is the finishing results from the previous heat for the Bristol Dirt. So we'll get the finishing results here shortly. But Cameron Hearn given an EOL, end of the longest line. So where would that put him, Harold?
That would put him all the way back to 21st. 21st, because he'll be the first. He'll be in front of Paul Urban. Because
so 20th.
No, 21st, because Will Davis is currently the last car on the lead lap.
Huh, okay.
So it should put him all the way back to 21st. But hey,
right.
Unofficial.
Unofficial, yeah. Still working this out, but we do know that Eli Green is confirmed the race winner. Connor O'Kresick second, Ryan Hart's third, Brad Slaughter fourth, and rounding out the top 5 is Dwayne Culberson. So the pole and win combination that has ended, at least for races I'm a part of a broadcast for. Then finishing in 6th is Dom DeLeo, 7th, Delonte Ballard. Jordan Martin comes in 8th, Matthew Robinson 9th. And then rounding out the top 10 is the number 69. No,
4.
Dan Miglin.
Would
Dan
be
Miglin,
10th,
the
yeah.
number 4, coming home 10th. The 69 of Gary Lewis finishing 11th. So close there to that top 10. Jacob Bell, 12th. Matt Alverson, 13th after going into the barrels. Ed Robertson, 14th. Jay Perkins, 15th. Excuse me, 16th, David Weishart. Mark Patterson, 17th. 18th is Tyler Nichols. 19th is Will Davis. And 20th is, you said it was...
So he
Will
would be,
Davis.
Will Davis is 19th, and then Cameron Hearn would
Yeah,
be 20th.
Cameron Hearn would be 20th because
Yeah.
the next car, that is Paul Irvin, was still one lap down.
Yeah, that's right.
So then from here on out, the fishing order is
Should be
correct on the screen. Brian Dixon, 22nd. Ryan Hart's 23rd. Ryan Wasserman, 24th. And rounding out the top 25 is Nick Johnson, with the rest of the field looking as Jake Nichols, Corey Carpenter, Randy Bechtel, Michael Arch, James Shamwolf, rounding out the top 30. And the rest of the field is Justin Wilson, Chris Seinfeld, Boyd Hogan, Garrett Heath, Forrest Smith, Alan Balancino, James Scioli, and Garrett Grant, rounding out the rest of the 38 drivers. And we'll take a look at our Elwood Design recap once more. The race winner, not Cameron Hearn.
Yeah,
It's actually Eli Green, who's led over 70 laps in a dominating effort. Had 11 cautions for 55 laps, as expected, in a wacky race on the Bristol dirt. Justin Wilson still fastest lap of the race at a 19.430. Well, Harold, still trying to process this. Are there any final thoughts?
Keep throwing stuff at us. Here, catch this.
Boy, it is something different every week here in the Elite Entertainment Cup Series. And next week we'll be going to Auto Club for the Elite Entertainment Cup Series next Monday. So be sure to tune in for that. Hopefully we'll have
get the actual racing.
Much calmer, actual racing, much calmer action for the Cup field. But that'll do it. From executive producer Harold Darner, I'm Hunter Sleppy saying so long, and we'll see you some other time.
What an exciting race brought to you by Wendigo Studios. Here they come out of turn 4 to the white flag, and it's 1 to go. Thank you to all our sponsors, drivers, and viewers. We'll see you at the next turn.